Are you struggling to get what you want, or you feel like things and people are always against you, or perhaps things just don't seem to work out most of the time as how you would like them to? Well, in this video I talk about transforming your consciousness to make things flow into your life a lot more easily, as well as how to create and manifest at a different level. What's up? Felipe here with Social Buddha, and today I want to talk about spiritual transformation. And what that means is moving into different levels of consciousness. I know for the most part, many people operate in terms of struggling, other people operate in terms of doing and working hard to do whatever they want to do. Other times, you probably had instances where you are in flow and where you're in state and everything seems to work out. That's what I mean by the different levels of consciousness. There's very much different levels. Now, what I want to talk about is how to get there and the benefits, as well as what are the biggest differences between the different levels of operating in your life. So first of all, the benefits. One of the number one benefits is that you begin to work more on yourself and on transforming your mindset and transforming your inner reality. With that comes a lot less outer work. What that means is that you're not having to work as hard, you're not having to put on those long hours as every freaking entrepreneur recommends and all that kind of stuff in terms of the grind and the hustle and all that kind of stuff. It's great and everything, and I think it's great to learn and put in those hours to build your skills up. But at the end of the day, I don't believe it leaves people satisfied, especially when people are doing it for the wrong reasons, because we don't feel we're enough, we need to prove something, and so on and so on. So again, very different level of consciousness when you're operating from that perspective of trying to prove something, of needing to work hard to get there. In this way, what I'm talking about is moving on to another level where things almost happen by themselves. And I mean that in regards to whether it's relationships, whether it's socializing, money, and all those different things. In fact, many times the biggest obstacle, as you have probably heard, is yourself. And so many times we wanna struggle, we wanna work hard and get to a certain goal, and so we don't allow things to flow. In fact, it's kind of like the body. It's kind of the way that the body works. Like, for example, when you're breathing, you don't really need to think about breathing, but when you do and you begin to meditate and think about breathing, you will have a tendency to try to control it. There are breathing exercises and breath work where you do control the breath, and that's different. But what I'm talking about is just the ego or the mind's way of trying to control everything. And in that way, we get in the way of the natural order of things. And so in regards to benefits, going back to benefits, first of all, you don't work as hard. Second of all, you're doing things more in terms of what's natural and coming in, as I like to call it, from a neutral perspective. You're not trying to take, you're not trying to give, you are just being what is natural. If you've heard of the Tao Te Ching, they talk about, in that book, it talks about how, the natural way is almost like water. It flows, there's no resistance, you're not going one way or another, you're just doing what's natural. And also, part of this consciousness is that you're not hurrying to get to a certain destination. As the Tao indicates, if you've read any of these quotes, is that nature doesn't hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And so it's the same way in this way of flow, in these different levels of consciousness. And so that is one of the benefits, that everything is effortlessly accomplished, as well as more peacefully without resistance, not only from yourself, but from the outside world. You are just allowing things to flow into existence, not only through visualizing and everything, but also through perceiving the world in a different way. Now, in terms of the actual transformation of consciousness, if you've seen any of my videos, I talk about perceiving reality for what it is. And some of the closest ways that I can point it out in terms of how it is, and how it actually is, and how we actually, most of us live it, is that it is very close to a dream. It is also very close to what would you call it? Kind of like a hologram. Have you ever heard of the hologram reality theory? That everything we perceive is based on our projections. Very close to that. And so if you begin perceiving things like that, you begin to desire things less and less. You begin to allow things to manifest more and more by simply being more conscious. What does being more conscious mean? It means, again, perceiving the illusion. It means perceiving that things are very malleable. It means that perceiving the illusion of conditioning as well that you have in regards to what triggers you, what you're desiring. Nothing wrong with having things, but when you begin desiring them, it creates a state of lack and a reality of lack. Also, when it comes to transcending into a different level of consciousness, it also means that you are at a different vibrational level. You are not in a state of sadness, worry, or fear, as well as desire, anger, and all that. You are moving more into peace and love. How do you accomplish this now? You really want to be disciplined. And in this way, this is where the actual work happens. It's not in actually going out there and putting 20, 30, 50, 100 hours and all that kind of stuff in terms of every single week and trying to, hit it hard in terms of work or in terms of business or in terms of, making a better relationship or getting a relationship or bettering the relationships with your family and all that. No, it's more about really being disciplined every single day on a specific routine that works for you in regards to your inner work. That might mean 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours of meditation. The thing is that, and I learned this actually from many, many different omens. If you know what that is just different coincidences where God or the universe tries to teach you something. And what I've learned is that you simply have to do the work. And by the work, I mean the inner work. And everything else is taken care of. Everything else you wanted, everything else that you needed especially, will be given to you in proportion to the amount of work you put on yourself and the higher level of frequency that your vibrational state is at. So your level of consciousness. And so in that way, not only do you begin attracting better things, but you are more positive, you are more loving, you are more at peace, and you flow a lot better. And so not only that, but wisdom and knowledge begins to come to you, from the collective consciousness, if you will, where things you didn't know you knew begin to seep in. It's almost like, how you see a lot of people that are creators or artists or all these different things, that they get these ideas and they're just brilliant. But it's because they're able to, just like you are, to tap into a higher level of consciousness when they're in flow for a specific type of art or a specific type of work and all that kind of stuff. And so that is what I'm talking about when it comes to getting into flow. So the actions are inspired, as you've probably heard before if you've seen The Secret and all that. But also, more than anything, you are operating from a very neutral, natural mindset and way of being, where you're more and more desireless, more and more at peace, and more loving, and more complete. And so it's a process. It's not like you just get there, but day by day, week by week, and month by month, and year after year, you can begin to raise your level of awareness and your level of consciousness to a point where you begin to not only manifest and create but you are being more of non-action, creating through non-action. And how do you do that? It's by transforming the way you see reality, and in the way you see yourself, and the way you are, basically. So the way you're being, not what you're doing, and not any of the other stuff that you might be thinking about. I know I teach a lot about socializing and dating and all that kind of stuff. So it's not what you say, it's not what you do, it's not what you have money-wise. It's not or the knowledge that you have. It is absolutely all about who you're being. So I hope that helps. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, feel free to subscribe for more videos like this on transforming your consciousness, as well as just more fun videos as well on dating and all that kind of stuff, but more than anything on this type of topic. So if you like it, hit the subscribe button as well as click on the bell button, and I'll see you on the next video.